Anna Morrison was a 65-year-old woman living a peaceful life on a small farm in the outskirts of Willow Creek. Her days typically began with the gentle light of dawn streaming through the windows, the crowing of roosters echoing in the distance, and the warm sounds of her small herd of livestock that she loved like family. For her, the animals were not just companions but also a source of comfort during her lonely days since her husband had passed away many years ago. A strong yet gentle woman, Anna often spent time volunteering at the local animal rescue shelter, where she found meaning in helping little creatures find new homes. One night, under a starlit sky with the moon casting a soft glow over the serene countryside, Anna was knitting by the fireplace when the ringing of her telephone shattered the quiet. She picked up, and the urgent voice of Linda, the shelter manager, came through. "Anna, I need your help. There's a mother dog chained at an abandoned farm up north. She has 5 puppies with her. I can't leave them. But we're short on people. Can you go?" Anna didn't hesitate. Her kind heart immediately sensed the urgency of the situation. She quickly got up and headed to her utility cabinet, where she kept supplies ready for such occasions: a flashlight, leashes, some food, and a large blanket. "I'll go right away, Linda." "Don't worry," she said, her voice steady and full of determination. She put on a thick coat to ward off the cold night and left her cozy home. Anna's old but reliable pickup truck roared to life under the dim light of the few street lamps in the area. She drove down the winding dirt road, the headlights slicing through the darkness, her mind occupied with thoughts of the mother dog and her puppies. Were they cold, hungry, or hurt? The thought spurred her to press the gas pedal harder. When she arrived, Anna pulled up in front of the abandoned farm, which looked eerie under the faint moonlight. She cautiously approached the dilapidated wooden house, the beams creaking in the wind. A faint whimpering sound from behind the house caught her attention. Moving closer, she found the mother dog, a shaggy, light brown creature with worried but gentle eyes, huddled on a rotting wooden plank. 5 tiny puppies nestled under her belly, trembling from the cold. Anna knelt down, gently placing a hand on the mother dog's head, feeling the tension in her. "It's okay, sweet girl. I'm here to help," she whispered. The dog let out a soft whine, seemingly understanding the comfort offered by this stranger. Anna carefully removed the rusty chain that was tightly wrapped around the dog's neck, then wrapped her in a blanket to keep her warm. One by one, she lifted the puppies into a basket lined with soft towels she had brought. The cold night air seemed to warm as Anna carried the little family back to her truck. Once everyone was safely inside, she drove back to the rescue shelter with Linda, where the dogs were examined and cared for. Anna stayed for a while, watching the little puppies snuggle together under the soft glow of a yellow lamp. She knew that once again, she had done the right thing by following her compassionate heart. When Anna arrived at the scene, the headlights of her truck illuminated a heartbreaking sight. In the cold, dark night, she saw the Labrador mother dog, later named Grace, lying collapsed beside a rusty metal stake. Grace's pale yellow fur was matted with mud, her body emaciated and weak. Her weary form and worried eyes were fixed on 5 tiny puppies trembling in a muddy pit not far away. Each breath Grace took seemed heavier than the last, but she still strained to shield her puppies from the chill. Anna stepped out of her truck, careful not to startle the fragile creatures. Carrying her flashlight and bolt cutters, she approached cautiously. The beam of her flashlight cut through the dewy night air, creating a somber, cold atmosphere. As she moved closer, Grace let out a low growl, Her eyes filled with fear and distrust. Anna understood that Grace was trying to protect her young. Despite her own exhaustion. "It's okay. Sweet girl. I'm here to help," Anna murmured. Her voice warm and soothing. She crouched down and examined the rusty stake. It was deeply embedded in the ground. And the chain around Grace's neck restricted her movements. Anna carefully positioned the bolt cutters, avoiding sudden movements that might alarm the dog further. After a few tense moments, the chain finally snapped. Grace jumped back a step, placing herself between Anna and her puppies. Her eyes still wary. Anna knelt down and gently spread out a blanket on the ground, signaling her intentions were peaceful. "You don't need to be afraid. We're leaving this place. All of us. Safe and sound," she continued in her calm tone. Seeing Grace's distrust, Anna knew she had to take things slow. She pulled out some food from her bag and placed it within Grace's reach. At first, Grace didn't move. Her gaze locked on Anna. But after a while, she sniffed the food and seemed to realize this stranger was no threat. Slowly, she began to eat. Anna stayed still, keeping her distance, waiting for Grace's trust to grow. Once Grace had finished eating, Anna gently approached the puppies, lifting them one by one out of the muddy pit and cleaning them with a soft towel. The tiny pups, weak and trembling, didn't resist, they seemed too exhausted to protest. Anna placed them in a large basket lined with warm blankets she had brought. She turned back to Grace, placing a hand lightly on her shoulder, feeling the tension in her muscles gradually ease. "Come on, Grace. Let's go home," she said. And this time, Grace didn't resist. Anna helped Grace into the truck, setting the basket of puppies beside her. She turned on the heater to warm the space, pushing away the chill of the night. During the drive home, Anna glanced in the rearview mirror and noticed Grace watching her. Though still wary, there was a subtle shift in her expression, less fear, more understanding. Grace seemed to be realizing that this woman meant no harm to her or her pups. When they arrived at the farm, Anna opened the truck door and led Grace inside her warm, welcoming home. She had prepared a clean, cozy spot with thick blankets and placed water and food nearby. Grace cautiously stepped in, her eyes never leaving Anna. But when she saw her puppies safe and warm, she settled beside them. A soft, relieved sigh escaped her, as though all her tension and fear had finally melted away. Anna stood silently for a moment, feeling the slow but steady transformation in their bond. Throughout the night, Anna frequently checked on Grace and her puppies, ensuring they were safe and comfortable. At first, Grace still seemed guarded whenever Anna approached. But as the hours passed, her eyes softened, and her tail began to wag slightly when Anna spoke or brought food. Anna knew that the journey to fully earn Grace's trust would be a long one. But with patience and love, she believed all wounds could be healed. Anna poured her heart into caring for Grace and the 5 puppies she had rescued. Each passing day, her small farmhouse grew more lively than ever before. Grace, who had once been emaciated and terrified when Anna first found her, was now gradually recovering. Anna named each puppy, Buddy, Luna, Charlie, Rosie, and Sunny, choosing names that reflected their unique personalities. Buddy was brave, Luna quiet but mischievous, Charlie quick and sprightly, Rosie gentle, and Sunny always radiated warmth like sunshine. The once frail, shivering puppies were now healthy, energetic, and eager to explore every corner of the farm as if discovering the world for the first time. Every day, Anna spent time feeding Grace and her pups, cleaning their living space, and checking their health. She would gently stroke Grace and talk to her in a warm, soothing voice. At first, Grace remained cautious. Her eyes filled with wariness whenever Anna approached. But gradually, as she experienced Anna's dedicated care and genuine love, Grace began to lower her guard. She no longer avoided Anna's gaze and instead looked at her with gratitude and trust. Grace always kept a watchful eye on her puppies. Whenever Anna picked one of them up, Grace would move closer as if to ensure their safety. One sunny afternoon, Anna sat on a wooden bench in the yard with a warm cup of tea, watching Grace and the puppies play. The puppies chased each other, occasionally tumbling in the soft grass, while Grace lay nearby, her eyes lovingly following their every move. Anna felt her heart swell with warmth. Moments like these reassured her that wounds, both physical and emotional, could be healed with love and patience. Despite the joy, Anna couldn't shake her curiosity about Grace's past and why she had been abandoned in such a terrible state. One day, while tidying up the rusty collar Anna had removed from Grace, she noticed faint lettering engraved on the metal, "Turner's Kennel." The name stirred something in Anna's memory. After a moment of thought, she recalled a scandal in Willow Creek years ago involving a careless dog breeder named Mark Turner, who had been accused of animal cruelty. Determined to learn more, Anna visited the town library and combed through old records. From local news articles, Anna discovered that the abandoned farm where she had found Grace once belonged to Mark Turner. This man had been reported multiple times for keeping animals in deplorable conditions and treating them cruelly. Witnesses had described how he often starved the dogs and chained them for long periods, leading to many dying from exhaustion. However, due to insufficient evidence, Mark had only been fined and forced to shut down his kennel. Anna felt a surge of anger thinking about what Grace and other animals must have endured. At the same time, she felt relieved knowing she had saved Grace and her puppies from that nightmare. Back at the farm, Anna looked at Grace with newfound respect. She no longer saw just a courageous mother dog but also a being that had endured immense suffering and yet remained full of love for her pups. Grace's story strengthened Anna's resolve to give her a life full of happiness and safety. As time went on, the bond between Anna and Grace deepened. Grace began to show unwavering trust in Anna. She no longer hesitated to approach her, often wagging her tail or rubbing her head against Anna's leg when she came near. Grace remained protective of her puppies, but she no longer worried when Anna played with or cared for them. The puppies, bursting with energy, transformed Anna's home into a place filled with laughter and joy. One morning, as the sun rose, Anna stood in the yard watching the puppies frolic while Grace lay in the sunlight, her eyes half closed in contentment. Anna's heart overflowed with happiness. Grace's journey was not just one of healing for herself but also one that brought warmth and purpose back into Anna's own life. Anna knew that to bring Grace's and her puppy's story to light, she needed to gather enough evidence to prove Mark Turner's cruelty. Without hesitation, she returned to the abandoned farm where she had found them. Driving her old truck along the bumpy dirt road, Anna felt a mixture of determination and sorrow as the bleak sight of the farm came into view. Memories of that heartbreaking night resurfaced as she parked and stepped out, carrying a camera, notebook, and a bag of tools. Anna began photographing the remnants left behind, the rusty stake, the broken chain, and the patches of mud where the puppies had once shivered. Each photo was a piece of the tragic puzzle that told Grace's story. She carefully noted the location, surrounding conditions, and any detail that could serve as evidence in court. The farm, untouched since its abandonment, stood as a silent witness to the cruelty that had taken place there. After collecting sufficient evidence from the site, Anna reached out to Linda, the manager of the local animal rescue shelter, and to members of the community for witness statements. Linda eagerly provided veterinary reports detailing Grace and the puppy's severe malnutrition, signs of prolonged neglect, and the need for urgent medical care. Several local residents also stepped forward, recounting what they had observed about Mark Turner's operations. Some recalled hearing dogs barking endlessly at night from the Turner farm, though few had dared to intervene. These testimonies became a crucial part of Anna's case. Armed with a comprehensive file, Anna began her legal pursuit. She approached local authorities and filed a formal complaint against Mark Turner. At first, the process was met with skepticism. Some dismissed the issue as minor and unworthy of legal action. But Anna was relentless. She spoke to officials, one by one, explaining that this was not just Grace's story, it was about protecting all voiceless creatures. Her persistence finally convinced the authorities to bring the case to court. In the courtroom, Anna presented her meticulously gathered evidence. She displayed photos, veterinary reports, and recounted witness statements. This is not the first time Mark Turner has mistreated animals, she emphasized. But if we fail to act now, how many more will suffer like Grace? Her words left the room silent. Behind her, community members holding signs that read, "Protect Animals," and "Justice for Grace," added weight to her plea. The verdict was decisive. Mark Turner was fined heavily, permanently banned from owning animals, and sentenced to a year of community service at the local animal rescue shelter. The sentence not only served as punishment but also as a lesson, forcing him to confront the consequences of his actions. After the trial, Anna didn't stop there. She collaborated with the Willow Creek community to raise awareness about animal protection. Together with Linda and other volunteers, she organized workshops where people could learn about animal rights, how to recognize abuse, and how to report it. Photos of Grace were used as a powerful reminder that speaking out could save lives. Anna also advocated for local schools to include animal welfare in their curricula. She believed that educating children early about compassion for animals would foster a generation more conscious of their responsibilities. Many students, inspired by these lessons, volunteered at the shelter, turning education into action. One day, as Anna stood in her yard watching Grace and her puppies, now grown and adopted into loving families, she felt her heart fill with hope. The journey to seek justice for Grace had not only brought fairness to one small family but also ignited a spirit of animal protection throughout the community. Anna knew the work wasn't over, but she was ready to continue, firmly believing that love and compassion could change the world. The soft glow of the setting sun bathed Anna's farm in warm hues, casting long shadows across the fields. The laughter of children echoed from the yard, where a small group played with the now-grown puppies. The 5 puppies Anna had rescued, Buddy, Luna, Charlie, Rosie, and Sunny, had each found loving homes. Each brought joy to their new families. And their visits back to Anna's farm were a chance to celebrate the love that had united them all. Buddy became the loyal companion of a 10-year-old boy who loved exploring nature. Luna brought joy to an elderly couple living in a cozy house on the outskirts of town. Charlie was adopted by an active family and joined them on morning runs. Rosie lived with a young artist, who often painted serene portraits inspired by her gentle demeanor. Sunny, with her cheerful personality, found a home with a family of 3 children, becoming their inseparable playmate. Grace, The brave mother stayed with Anna. Over time, she fully recovered and became Anna's faithful companion. The two, once broken in their own ways, found comfort and healing in each other's company. Every morning, Grace accompanied Anna on walks around the farm. Her eyes filled with peace and happiness. Anna often stroked Grace's soft fur, whispering kind words. Feeling the special bond they had formed, a connection built on trust and perseverance. But Anna's little farm wasn't just a sanctuary for her and Grace. With the support of the community, she transformed it into a haven for abandoned animals. Clean, warm shelters were built, and the land was expanded to provide plenty of space for the animals to roam. Dogs, cats, and even a small horse found safety and care at Anna's farm, where volunteers helped rehabilitate them and find them new homes. The farm became not just a sanctuary but also a center for community education. Every month, Anna hosted workshops and talks at the farm. Children from local schools visited to learn about caring for and loving animals. Anna shared Grace's story, explaining how a small act of kindness, like rescuing one dog, could make a profound difference. The children listened intently, their eyes lighting up as they saw Grace lying peacefully beside Anna. A living testament to the power of compassion. It wasn't just children who were inspired. Adults in the community began taking action, volunteering at shelters, donating supplies, or helping out at Anna's farm. A new movement began to spread through Willow Creek, a movement of love and protection for the most vulnerable creatures. One day, as Anna sat on a wooden bench under the shade of a large oak tree with Grace lying at her feet, an old friend visited. It was Linda, the shelter manager who had called Anna that fateful night. The two reminisced about their journey, reflecting on the challenges, tears, and joys they had experienced. If it weren't for you, Anna, none of this would have happened, Linda said, her eyes full of gratitude. Anna simply smiled and replied, "Sometimes, all we need to do is listen to our hearts. Grace taught me that perseverance and love can heal any wound." The story of Anna and Grace became a symbol in Willow Creek. They appeared in newspaper articles. Their story was shared on social media, and even inspired a small book published by a young local writer. But for Anna, the recognition wasn't what mattered. What she cherished most was seeing those around her take action, even small ones, to spread love and kindness. As the setting sun painted the horizon in shades of red and gold, Anna stood and looked out at her farm, now not just a home, but a beacon of hope. She knew her journey wasn't over. There were still lives to save, still stories to tell. But she was unafraid. With Grace by her side, Anna believed that every small step she took could create monumental change.